So, you're dating a god, or at least that's what they think they are. To everyone else, you're in a relationship, but you know the truth. You're actually in a hostage negotiation that happens to include dinner dates.
I can't do this. Could you please take me back to work?
No, that's not the deal.
If you've told your friends or family about the yelling, the silent treatment, or the fact that you're slowly losing your mind, they've probably given you the standard gold-plated advice. Just leave them. You deserve better. Why are you still there? This advice is technically correct. It is also useless. Telling a victim of narcissistic abuse to just leave is like telling a person falling out of an airplane to just fly. It ignores gravity. The problem isn't that you don't want to leave. The problem is that the entire relationship has been engineered to make you feel like you can't. They have spent months, maybe years, installing buttons in your brain that they can push whenever you try to stand up. Guilt buttons, fear buttons, I'm going to delete myself if you leave buttons. Most people try to leave a narcissist the way they leave a normal relationship. They sit down, they have a conversation, they ask for closure, and that is why they fail. Because you are not breaking up with a person, you are escaping a cult of one. If you haven't guessed by the title, getting out is actually possible, but you can't do it with your heart. You have to do it with your head. You need a system. I call this the backup method, because right now, your life is a corrupted hard drive. If you try to pull the plug immediately, you lose everything. You need to back up your data, secure your files, and then format the disk. Here is how you execute the perfect escape without them ever seeing it coming. Phase 1. The biology of why you stay. Before we get to the logistics, we have to address the elephant in the room. Why are you still here? You're not stupid. You're seemingly a functional adult who can tie their own shoes and pay taxes. So why does this one person control your entire nervous system? It's not because you're weak. It's because you're addicted. And I don't mean that metaphorically. If you scan the brain of someone in love with a narcissist and someone addicted to gambling, the scans look the same. It's called intermittent reinforcement. If you put a rat in a box with a lever, and that lever gives it food every time, the rat presses it only when it's hungry. But if the lever only gives food sometimes, randomly, unpredictably, the rat will press that lever until it dies of exhaustion. The narcissist is the lever. Sometimes they are the sweetest, most charming person you've ever met, the love bomb. Sometimes they are a monster, the devaluation. You are the rat. You are staying because you are waiting for the high of the good times to come back. The first step of the backup method is admitting that you are going through withdrawal. You aren't dealing with love. You are dealing with a chemical dependency on chaos. Once you realize that, you stop trying to fix the relationship and you start trying to fix your brain chemistry. Phase 2. Going undercover. The biggest mistake people make is announcing their departure. You get into a fight, you scream, "I'm done," and you pack a bag.
I am done! I don't deserve this. I really do not deserve this.
This triggers the narcissist's greatest fear, abandonment, and they will react in one of two ways. 1. The rage. They will threaten you, destroy your property, or block the door. 2. The hoover. They will suddenly become the person you fell in love with again. They will cry. They will promise therapy. They will buy you a car. Both are traps. To escape, you must become a spy in your own house. You need to enter deep cover. This means you stop fighting. When they accuse you of cheating because you went to the grocery store for 25 minutes instead of 20, you don't defend yourself. You say, "I'm sorry, traffic was bad." When they tell you you're stupid, you say, "Yeah, I've been really forgetful lately." This is called the gray rock method, but we're going to upgrade it. You aren't just being boring, you are being agreeable. You are lulling the enemy to sleep. The goal is to lower their defenses. A narcissist who thinks they have you under control is a lazy narcissist, and a lazy narcissist is easy to escape. You are going to continue the relationship as normal. You will say, "I love you." You will make dinner. You will plan holidays you have no intention of going on. Is this lying? Yes. Is it manipulative? Absolutely. But you are dealing with emotional terrorism. The rules of the Geneva Convention do not apply here. Phase 3. The digital go bag. Now that they think everything is fine, you start the actual work. You need to secure your logistics. Narcissists love financial control. They love knowing your passwords. They love tracking your location. You need a digital go bag. This isn't a physical bag yet. This is a cloud-based safety net, but you can't use your phone. If you have an iPhone and they have an iPhone and you share an iCloud account, congratulations. They can read your texts, see your photos, and track your location to within 3 feet. The burner strategy. You need a safe device. Go to a store, buy a cheap prepaid Android phone with cash. Do not bring this into your house. Leave it at your work. Leave it at a friend's house. Hide it in your car's spare tire well if you have to. This is your command center. On this device, you are going to create a new email address that you have never used before. Do not use first name last name at gmail.com. Use plantlover88@gmail.com, something that looks like spam. The document heist. Over the next few weeks, you are going to digitally photograph every important document you own. Passport, birth certificate, social security card, car title, bank statements, tax returns. Upload these photos to a cloud storage drive, Google Drive, Dropbox, connected to your new secret email. Narcissists love to hold documents hostage. You want to leave? Good luck getting a job without your birth certificate. If you have digital copies, you have power. The squirrel fund. You need money. If you have a joint bank account, assume that money is already gone. The second they sniff you leaving, they will drain it. It happens every time. You need to start siphoning cash. Get cash back at the grocery store. $20 here, $50 there. If you can, open a completely separate bank account at a different bank than the one you use now. Opt out of paper statements. Everything goes to the burner phone. This might take months. That's okay. The backup method is not a sprint, it's a slow motion heist. Phase 4. The social firewall. Now we have to talk about people. The narcissist has likely isolated you. They've told you your friends hate you. They've told your family you're the crazy one. Or worse, they are charming your family. I don't know why she's acting like this, Mom. I'm just trying to help her. You need to identify your leaks. There is a term in this community called flying monkeys. In The Wizard of Oz, the witch didn't chase Dorothy herself. She sent the monkeys. The narcissist will use mutual friends to spy on you and guilt trip you. The test. Before you tell anyone your plan, give them a test piece of information. Tell a friend something harmless but specific. I'm thinking of taking a pottery class on Tuesdays. If the narcissist mentions pottery or Tuesday nights to you 3 days later, you know that friend is a leak. Cut them off. You need exactly 1 or 2 people who are vaults. If you don't have them in real life, you need to find them online. There are forums, subreddits, and support groups filled with people who have PhDs in being treated like garbage. They will believe you. Validation from others is the antidote to the gaslighting. When you say, "He got mad that I breathed too loud," and they say, "Yeah, mine did that too," it reminds you that you aren't crazy, you're just being abused. Phase 5. The actually trap. While you are preparing, you will be tempted to defend yourself. You'll be reading books about narcissism. You'll watch videos like this one, and you will want to scream, "I know what you are doing. You are gaslighting me. Do not do this." Calling out a narcissist is like poking a bear with a stick to see if it's grumpy. Spoiler alert, it is. Let's look at a conversation. Scenario A. The trap. Narcissist. "You never support me. You're so selfish." You. "That's not true. I cooked dinner. I paid the rent. I listened to you for 3 hours." Narcissist. "See, you're keeping score. You're obsessed with money. You're hysterical." Result. You lose energy. They get supply. Scenario B. The backup method. Narcissist. "You never support me. You're so selfish." You. Pause. Blank face. "I'm sorry you feel that way." Narcissist. "That's all you have to say?" You. "I guess so. Is there anything else?" This is boring to them. They want a fight. If you don't give them a fight, they will eventually get bored and leave you alone to go play video games or yell at someone on Twitter. That is the time you use to pack your bags. Phase 6. The exit day. The day has arrived. You have your money. You have your documents backed up. You have a place to stay, a friend's couch, a hotel, a new apartment. Now, how do you leave? Rule number 1. You leave when they are not there. Do not break up in person. There is no honor in a face-to-face breakup with someone who does not respect you as a human being. Wait until they go to work. Wait until they go to the gym. Rule number 2. Speed is life. You are not packing everything. You are packing what matters. Clothes, meds, the cat. Leave the furniture. Leave the TV. Material objects can be replaced. Your sanity cannot. If you stay too long agonizing over whether to take the toaster, you risk them coming home early. Leave the toaster. Rule number 3. The note. You leave a note. Do not write a 10-page letter explaining your feelings. They do not care about your feelings. They will only use it to mock you. Write 2 sentences. "I am leaving. Do not contact me." That's it. It conveys the message, and it is legally useful if you need a restraining order later. Rule number 4. The block. As you drive away, you initiate total digital blackout. Block their number. Block their email. Block their social media. Block their mother. Block their sister. Block the flying monkeys. If you leave a crack in the door, they will slide through it. Phase 7. The aftermath. The withdrawal. You are out. You are safe. You are sitting in a silent room, and suddenly you feel terrible. You don't feel happy, you feel panicked. You check your phone to see if they called, even though you blocked them. You wonder if you made a mistake. Maybe they weren't that bad. Remember that time we went to the beach? This is the euphoric recall. Your brain is trying to protect you from the pain by filtering out the bad memories and highlighting the good ones. It is a liar. This is why you kept a journal, which you hopefully did on your burner phone. Read the list of things they did to you. Called me fat on my birthday. Threw a plate at the wall because the internet was slow. Flirted with the waitress and told me I was jealous. Read it until you are angry. Anger is better than nostalgia. Anger will keep you safe. The Hoover attempt. At some point, they will find a way to reach you. They will use a fake number. They will show up at your work. They will not be angry. They will be pathetic. I realized I was wrong. I'm going to therapy. I found God. I'm dying of a rare disease and I need you. They are Oscar-winning actors. But remember, closure is a scam. They don't want you back because they love you. They want you back because they lost their favorite toy. If you go back, the abuse will be 10 times worse because now they need to punish you for leaving. Why you are doing this? The backup method seems cold. It seems calculated. That's because it has to be. You are reclaiming your reality. For a long time, you have been an NPC, non-player character, in their video game. You existed only to give them health, ammo, and attention. The backup method is you taking the controller back. It is scary to be alone, but you know what is scarier? Spending the next 20 years walking on eggshells, shrinking yourself down until you are invisible, just to avoid an argument that you are going to lose anyway. Becoming free is easy, actually. It's the deciding to be free that's hard. But once you make that backup, once you realize you have the data, the money, and the plan, you realize that they were never a god. They were just an insecure toddler in a trench coat, and you don't need to be their babysitter anymore. So, start your backup. Buy the burner phone. Save the cash. And when you finally walk out that door, don't look back. Cool guys don't look at explosions. And your old life? It's about to implode. Next steps. If you want to know exactly what to say to shut down a narcissist during an argument while you're still in the deep cover phase, I put together a guide on gray rock phrases that act like kryptonite. But before you search for that, I'm collecting support in the form of likes. It surely helps our channel a lot. See you on the next video.